So this morning, Nintendo had a Donkey Kong Bonanza, big old direct. It was 17 minutes long. We're gonna hit some of the highlights of it, just to kind of give you a quick rundown. Now, you said you have played all the Donkey Kong games extremely legally.
Yes.
Yes, and you're a fan of the Donkey Kong games.
I am.
Have you seen in this new Donkey Kong that looks really exciting for you, Donkey Kong Bonanza?
I even Banana. I haven't been keeping up with the series recently. I think the last one I was played was Nintendo 64.
Yeah, that was like a major collectathon. Yeah, that game, Donkey Kong 64. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know where the series is going today.
Well, it's been primarily 2D platforming since then. But I think this is actually the first 3D Donkey Kong game we've seen since then. So that's interesting for sure. Now, they did have this presentation. It was, as I mentioned, 17 minutes and almost 18 minutes long here. We can skip through some of the highlights that Nintendo wanted to promote. It's #1 trending over on YouTube right now. Some noticeable things include the use of Amiibo support, which I didn't know that they were still pushing Amiibos. What do you think about these little things, these Amiibos here, Arch?
Largely unoffensive. If somebody wants to waste their money on a plastic model and that they can then slot into a game, then
Right. We did this thing back in the day. It was so fun. We did an Amiibo death match. I think it was called the Amiibo Cockfight, where we had people build up their Amiibo characters. So that's something you do in Smash Brothers. And then we had the Amiibos fight each other in person. People would put their Amiibos down, and then the loser actually got their Amiibos destroyed in front of everybody. It was so fun. It was so good. But yes, the Amiibos are available for purchase. They unlock Pauline's in-game diva dress. Now, what's the deal with Pauline, you may be asking? Well, Pauline is actually like the sidekick character to Donkey Kong in this game. Pauline's voice, which you saw Pauline in Super Mario Odyssey, which I'm sure, Arch, you played, once again, completely legally, Super Mario Odyssey. Pauline was the mayor of New Donk City, and she was like a singer. And it says, Pauline's voice empowers Donkey Kong to unleash his wild side with the power of Bonanza. Yep, that's Donkey Kong as a zebra and an ostrich. Let's go ahead and see what was going on with this.
Pauline, do something special. She can make Donkey Kong transform. With incredible destructive power, even hard terrain poses no problem. Plow through the world and smash as much as possible with the powerful Kong Bonanza. Plus, DK can transform into a zebra. He's as speedy as he is striped.
What do you think of this, Arch?
I mean, I'm assuming that the retarded part here is the retarded part, amongst other things, turning the monkey into a zebra. For me, I'm mostly getting flashbacks of that time they introduced a young human girl to the Sonic series, and
oh yeah, that didn't go very well, did it?
Now there's a human girl hanging out around the monkeys that supercharge them.
That's right. And there, by the way, in
Mayor of
addition to this,
Smash City,
Donkey Kong also in Smash City, Donkey Kong also turns into an ostrich here, which can fly.
Ostrich, a flying ostrich. Spread your wings and soar through the sky.
So that's
ostriches
interesting.
don't fly.
That's true. But if you go back to like the original Donkey Kong Country, you did have the ostrich that allowed you to float. So there's that. I suppose a nice little callback here. So I think what's happening in this game is there are different like levels that you beat, and it sounds like it's kind of Mega Man-ish, where you beat a certain level and you get a certain power, which allows you to continue to explore, I guess, a la, Mega Man or a Metroid or something like that. And allows you to continue to progress with additional powers. And I deduced this by watching the next clip here. Apparently, there's like an underworld area here where you meet these kings. And I'll kind of tell you how I got there. Here you go.
The many layers of the underground world are host to a variety of inhabitants. Some are mysterious and aren't too bothered by DK's destructive tendencies. It looks like Cranky Kong and his companion Rambi are also venturing through the layers of the world.
I guess he has kind of like a Captain Toad mentality, or he's kind of just making his way through a la Mario Odyssey.
Then there are the Giant Elders, who call the underground world home. They're said to possess ancient bonanza powers.
So, as I said, I think you get through these areas, then you unlock these powers. Pauline sings a song, kind of Ocarina of Time-ish, where you play a song and you get a power. I'm just kind of, that's what it appears to me. Any thoughts on this? Does it get you excited here, Arch or Blabs?
My thoughts are very simple. My thoughts is, man, I am old because this is just cringe to me now.
Really? Okay. Yeah. What about you guys? What about you, chat? A lot of people are saying this looks really good. I think this is going to be super fun, personally. I think this will be great.
It doesn't really appeal to me, to be completely honest. But again, I didn't grow up playing these games, so I'm missing like that whole nostalgia factor as well. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem that great.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather go play the Donkey Kong Country game that I played over on Plus, by the way.
Yeah.
I would definitely go play that over this one. Now, I'm sure it'll do really well. I'm sure it'll sell super well and make a lot of money. But I don't think I'm the target audience.
I did grow up with this, and I recognize virtually none of this except for Cranky Kong and Rambi. And yeah, my impression is simply just, I have become old. This does not appeal. I do not understand.
I think you're right. I think you're right on that. I really do. I think that this is not meant for you, Arch. This is meant for the kids. And by the way, new poll in the chat. Are you interested in this game? Are you interested in Donkey Kong Bonanza? Based off what we're showing here. Let's continue. We've also talked about how the Switch has a killer new app, Blabs. Do you remember the new killer new feature with the Switch?
The mouse.
That's right, the mouse. Well, you can use the mouse in this game, Arch. You want to see how? Boy, do you.
Doesn't even answer.
Outside of the main game, there's a mode where you can...
Real quick. Can we just give it up for the music in the background? Straight from Donkey Kong
The
Country?
music is good, yes.
Yes.
Outside of the main game, there's a mode where you can carve stone using mouse controls called DK Artist. Rotate to paint. Carve material. Or add some back on.
That's going to end well. I'm just going to...
Yeah, that doesn't look good right off the bat.
Sure, yes, Nintendo. Give people the ability to make whatever they want with your characters. I'm sure there will not be a tremendous quantity of penises.
This, you could argue that there's one kind of right there staring us in the face.
See, like, I get the idea. There's a game that came out recently that I'm really enjoying, a Broken Arrow strategy game where they were like, okay, we're going to have a map screen and you can paint on it to communicate your ideas and strategies to other players. Wow, that sounds like a great idea. Cock, penis, cock.
Of course. Well, as one would expect. I mean, naturally.
You can even change the lighting and add...
Oh, it's an octopus. Oh, it's an octopus tentacle. That's what it is. Oh, I'm sorry.
Delectable banana effects. Give it a try and sculpt to your heart's content.
There you go. So you have that ability here. Nice little... I'm sure people will make all sorts of fun things in Donkey Kong Bonanza here. But if that hasn't sold you yet, Arch, I know you're huge on customization for your characters. I can see it in your face. you're beaming, as a matter of fact, with how excited you are for this next feature, Arch.
I am. My skin is actually capable of reflecting light.
I see it. I see. That's what I mean. I was as a play on words. You're just beaming here, Arch.
Can you like power stuff with your brightness?
Well, theoretically, yes.
Okay.
Arch, I would love to see you wear these pants right here.
And nothing else?
You know, maybe the tie.
It's Craig's fantasy right there.
Throw the tie. It looks like there's some chaps here, which you can wear as well. But here you go. Let's see what you can get with as you unlock things. This is very Super Mario Odyssey.
Just open the closet and customize the perfect fits for Donkey Kong and Pauline.
Yeah, DK, get the fuck back in the closet, I pray, please.
No look is too much for Donkey Kong, or too little. Almost
Question for you guys, since I've never really played these games. Was like the whole customization of Donkey Kong always a thing, or is that for
no?
Yeah, this is brand new.
Because I gotta be honest, I don't like it. Why do we have a blue Donkey Kong?
I think, okay, let me tell you when I first started seeing this customization of characters here. I feel like when you allow people to customize, I think they start losing their identity.
Exactly.
Like I started seeing this in the new Street Fighter characters where they started, I think it's Street Fighter 4 or 5. They started adding skins to characters and made them absolutely unrecognizable. And I think that's one of the things. Yeah, thank you, Frosty. I think that's one of those things that when you give people customization, the identity around like Mario no longer wearing the red overalls and instead wearing a captain's hat and stuff. It's cute, but you need some sort of source material. And like I, for one, would be playing Donkey Kong naked in this one. You know, I think that looks better. This is the best version of Donkey Kong right here. This is the best version. Right?
Yeah, it's the original. That's what everyone knows. It's like, who the hell is this like green Donkey Kong? Like, what character is he? Is he his cousin? You know?
Like, would you rather have this Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong going to a pride parade? Right.
Wild.
Just saying. I think I'd much rather have that.
Like, I'm sure the kids are gonna really, really love that you can do all this customization, but again, I feel like I'm not the target audience, so maybe it's why I'm just like, none of this really appeals.
Cleon points out that it's not the original Donkey Kong. I understand that. But this is how Donkey Kong has been presented, you know, for the last 30 years, right? And I understand this is Junior. I get it, right? But just, I mean, when I see Donkey Kong, I speak of the character itself, right? It's not cranky and all this stuff. Yeah, technicalities, whatever. But I don't know. I understand the aspect of what they're doing, but I think it loses some of the value there. So overall, Arch, do you think you'll find a way to play this game totally legally and in no way, shape, or form on anything but a Switch 2?
No, I think Donkey Kong can go back in the closet and be forgotten about for a while again.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think this game will be a hit, personally. I think it'll be a system seller for the Switch. Blabs, do you think, what are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, like I said, I think this will sell really well. Everyone wants a new Donkey Kong game. So I have no problem. I mean, I have no doubt it'll do fantastic. The question is, though, because you have a Switch too, are you going to get it for you and your girls?
They have not made one peep about it. I don't even think they know this game exists.
Oh, wow.
So
are you going to ask them about it, or are you just going to like let it go through the radar and see how long it'll take before they notice it?
No, I will absolutely see. If they bring it up to me, then and only then will we talk about it. Yeah. Like, I don't want to spur the conversation about these games.
That means buying them another game. Shit.
Right. These games are expensive, man. You know?
They are. Yeah. This one's not the $80 price tag, right? That was only Mario Kart World.
I think this one is $70. I think so.
So fucking expensive.
Yeah. I'm also not a huge fan of the color in this game. The color palettes in this game kind of has that. It almost has that marathon style look to it. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but and follow me on this. When you look at the gameplay of this, it has that kind of muted look to it with the vibrant colors that pop off it, which is almost, if you just look at this and you say this is not Donkey Kong Country, you can see it's very muted with those bright yellows. And this is obviously a little bit different, but even Donkey Kong becomes muted here. And Nintendo games are generally very colorful, but I don't know. Am I wrong on this? It feels like it has that
It's got a bit of a
marathon look.
weird style to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think what it probably is, it has the usual modern game filter disease, where instead of simply having a colorful setting, they've slapped on some kind of, in this case, like a desaturation colors on top of it. I really don't like them when they do that. Because normally the games actually look great, but then they feel the urge to slap on something to change it. Like this, the yellow is popped there, for example, far more than the other colors.
Right.
I think the colors are a little bit more muted as compared to the Mario Kart World game.
Definitely. Oh yeah, Mario Kart World is super bright and colorful.
Yeah, I'm popping.
But I think that if you're going to be critical of Marathon, you got to be critical of this as well.
No, I agree. That's fair.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, so I went to check the pricing of Donkey Kong Bonanza just to verify, and yes, you guys are correct. It's $69.99. I will never understand why you have to pay $69.99 for either digital or physical when you're not getting the same thing. It makes no sense to me. Whatever. Fuck Nintendo and everybody else who does this. The end.
I agree. I think having a digital copy would be great, making it less money, obviously. Because there's considerably less.
You're not
cost.
paying for like the case or when they used to put the little manuals inside of them. You're not paying for any of that stuff. I don't know. Whatever, man. I'm mad.
Especially when it comes to they're on their own platform. They're not giving Steam 20 or 30%. They control all that. So
greedy Nintendo gonna greed.
Well. Speaking of Nintendo, Arch, I don't know if you saw this news story yesterday, but there's a bunch of new shipments of the Switch 2 going to GameStops, the big retailer here in the United States. Or are they? Let's check out this news story here.
If you want to get your hands on a Nintendo Switch 2, you're out of luck. They're sold out in some spots, in others marked way up. Thieves decided they couldn't wait, hitting a semi-truck carrying the consoles.
When deputies arrived, they did determine that 2,810 Nintendo Switch 2 consoles were stolen out of the back of that trailer at some point.
Anders Nelson with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says a truck driver was at the Love's truck stop in Bennett when he noticed his trailer had been broken into. He told deputies he didn't know these hot-ticket items were in his cab. These got multiple pallets full of the Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. No small haul.
Yeah, they retail at $499. The cost to Nintendo is just over $410. So either way you look at it, it's well over $1 million worth of merchandise stolen.
Exactly right.
Steve Beatty is a computer science professor at MSU Denver. He says, don't expect those swipe switches to show up on Craigslist or at pawn shops.
Because they're stolen, I would expect them to head to the dark web pretty quickly, unless they're shipped out of country.
The anonymous spot to buy and sell, feeding a demand.
And it took me about 2 minutes to find switches for sale. Okay, so it's half price.
If you end up with the stolen Switch, Beatty says these devices each have a serial number that police and Nintendo can track. When you log in, you have to register that number. That's how you play games, get updates. Nintendo, he says, can then track your device.
Nintendo does have the capability of what we call bricking the device, and that is to make it non-functional.
Getting around that lockdown isn't simple. Beatty says you'd have to try and jailbreak it, essentially sidestepping those protections through coding, or avoid connecting to the internet altogether. As deputies work to detect who cleared out these consoles, Beatty says if you too are on the hunt for a Switch, stick to the shops you trust.
They are pricey little devices, right? And so if you're not paying, $500-$600 for one, you're probably not getting an original.
Investigators say it's unclear if the heist actually happened at that truck stop in Bennett or in another city where that semi stopped. Anyone with any information should call the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
That's shit, though. Imagine you're some innocent person who just buys a Nintendo Switch without knowing that one was stolen, and then you get stuck with this Nintendo Switch that won't actually work. What do you do? Is Nintendo gonna charge you a fee even though you weren't the one who stole it and you just bought it and everything? How does that work?
Well, I mean, yeah, you're out of luck in a situation.
Yeah, that's awful.
Blabs.
I'm saying
Of
that's
course.
shit. Don't steal Switches.
Okay, so hold on. You're telling me that the criminals would do bad things?
Yeah, weird, right? But I'm pitying the poor innocent person who has no idea that Switch was stolen. How does that work for them? like since Nintendo's breaking it. I really want to know how that works.
Who cares?
They get fucked.
What do you mean, who cares?
Arch is right. They're getting effed. Look, at the end of the day, this is from a criminal perspective. Their job is to take it, sell it as fast as they possibly can, and make as much money as they look. The cost to them was nothing. So if they sell it for half price, that's a 1 trillion% markup. It cost them their time, right? So if there's $1 million worth of stuff and they sell it for half that, well, congratulations, you still made $500,000. You know, I'll say this: making off with like forklifts of things, it's very impressive. And those truck stops, they are all monitored. So you have to think that there has to be some video of what happened somewhere. You know, if it's broken into, they had to, you know, there's got to be video of that stuff.
It was like some planned like tower heist movie where they all like had roles and somebody, you know, disconnected the cameras and everything and, you know, swayed the security somehow to look at the cameras or whatever it was. Like, there's a whole story behind it, like Oceans.
It is interesting, though, as Adam pointed out over here on X. Can't Nintendo just brick those? And they pointed that out in the story as well. Like, that's pretty interesting, Arch. Thoughts on Nintendo going in and being able to just find it and brick them?
I mean, it's probably one of the reasons they did it, so that they can track them and, you know, do this kind of stuff. And in this case, I suppose good, but it's yet another thing where the company's one good idea will be used more against legitimate purchases than against the handful of cases where there is actually something illegitimate going on.
It's always for your safety, Arch. Always.
It's always for your safety.
Well, rest in peace there, Switch 2 potential owners who buy the hot version of the Switch 2 and only to have it bricked by Nintendo. God, that will suck. You're right, Blabs.
Yeah.
All right. Got another video for you right here. Go to watch it. It's a good one.